Yo, what's up guys? You're back again with Reece with another tutorial. And this time I'm going to run through the very first breakdown I did for my Halsey bootleg, the Trouble track. I'll give you a quick listen to this so you know what I'm talking about. I've took the vocals out as well just so you can hear more of the melodic elements and instruments in the breakdown. Yeah, so that's the breakdown section out of my bootleg of Trouble. Alright, let's have a look what we've done here. Mind my messy project. We'll go through the first thing I see, which is the bass in this section. Alright, so I made the bass obviously out of Lethal Audio. Want to thank those guys for shooting me a copy of that. If you haven't checked out Lethal Audio, it's mad. So yeah, definitely take the time to go and check that out. So yeah, the bass line's from Lethal. Let's have a listen to that. Yeah, so nothing too complicated in this channel. I'm pretty sure, as I just opened Lethal before, I just picked the bass out of their progressive pack, pads and strings 1, and turned the cutoff over here right down so that there was no highs or mids, and just use that as the sub layer to the breakdown. A little bit of processing here. As you've probably seen in most of my other tutorials, I like to cut off all the sub end. Well, not all of it, obviously, but cut it, low pass it through to about 25 to 30 hertz somewhere. Obviously, before I did this processing, I thought there was too much volume in this section here around the 100 hertz mark, so I've obviously cut a little bit out. And well, realistically, because there is no mids or highs, I should just cut this out. But I haven't here, obviously. So yeah, so there's nothing too complicated in there. We'll move on to the next layer, which is the piano. I don't get too complicated with my piano stuff. I pretty much just use the inbuilt grand piano in Ableton. Does the job for me. And with a little bit of processing, I can get it to sound a little bit nicer. And here, I'll just group all of these so we can see what's going on. Or consolidate, I should say. Now, I did write all these from scratch. I had to listen to the original version of the track to find all the chords and stuff like that, but I did do changed all the velocities for particular notes, and obviously drew all the chords in myself. Excuse me. And again, in this processing, it's not too complicated again. Bit of an EQ, cut out some of the mids, and a bit of width with this is real handy in the new Ableton 10, by the way. I use this quite a bit now. Before I'd have to go and hunt for a plugin to spread the width a bit. but this is real handy in the new Ableton 10 utility. So yeah, a little bit of width. Don't mind the sidechain, that's probably for a bit further down the track, and the auto filter. A little bit of reverb, a bit more hardness. 106 bright. That's pretty much my settings for every single time I use the grand piano out of Ableton. And we'll have a quick listen. Turn all this off and see what it sounds like before. Probably not too much of a difference, probably just a little bit cleaner. Yeah. Yeah, so it already sounds good without this little bit of processing I did. I'll turn it on and just play it quickly just so we can hear the difference. Yeah, so a little bit cleaner. And it really helps to get involved with this velocity stuff as well. Makes it sound a little more realistic. If I hadn't have played with them, you would have been able to tell I've just drawn it in. So yeah, definitely have a listen to some piano lines on YouTube or something like that to get an idea of how people play piano and just sort of, yeah, copy it, I guess. That's all I've done here. What else do we have in this breakdown? Strings. So my go-to plugins for strings is either Nexus or Lethal Audio. In this case, I've used Lethal Audio. And which one am I using on here? Oh wait, maybe I'm not. I'm using Nexus. So dark cellos. These are one of my favorite cello presets. It's just in the classical bank in Nexus 2, and then dark cellos. And they sound awesome. I'll give you a listen without all the processing. Alright. Oops. Yeah, so they're a really nice sounding cello. And what I've done here is pretty much use the same chords out of the piano and just dropped them in here, and then extended the notes so they're just held on. And the piano and that together sound really nice. Yeah. Alright, so let's have a look at the processing. Cut out all the lows because I don't want the low end of that, obviously, because I've got my bass layer up the top there. So that's obviously the first thing I do. A bit of multi-band compression. I'm not a whiz when it comes to compression and things like that. But I generally put this multi-band compression, which is actually comes with Ableton in the multi-band dynamics, and you got multi-band compression here. I usually drop these on my strings and sometimes pianos, like instruments and stuff like that, to, I guess, bring out certain characters of the sound itself. You can tell the difference. If I turn this off, you'll be able to hear it. Yeah, so it's quite dull without this multiband compression on it. As I said, I'm not a whiz with multiband compression, but I've used it that much that I know that's what I need to put on this sound to get it to where I want it to be, if that makes sense. What else we got? Again, some width. And that's about it. Monoed the bass, not that there is any bass, but I do it anyway. Alright, what else have we got in here? Ambient things. This is out of the Retro Hands pack, obviously, but I put this at the start just for a bit of ambience going into the first breakdown. So if I didn't put that in, it will kind of sound pretty bare in that intro bit, I reckon. Turn it off and have a listen. Yeah, nothing. So yeah, that's why I obviously put that in there, because I felt it needed something, and this worked perfectly. Not too much processing on that again, just cut out majority of all the lows and some of the mids, and just left most of the mid highs and highs. What else have we got? Reverse reverbs. Alright, so let's have a listen to these. I just do these for more, just to add more character in the breakdown, I guess. Fill it in a bit more. It's a bit more atmospheric, if that's a word. Probably not, but you know what I mean. Let's have a listen with them in the track. Yeah, so they sound quite good in there. What else have we got in here? We got this little rattle shake. That's what I called it anyway. Sounds pretty cool in that bit. Got absolutely no processing on that. Probably should have. If I was going to be more anal about it, probably would have cut out all the lows. Probably would have done something like that. What else? Got some rides further in the breakdown. Pretty much just cut out all the lows and mids and left the highs, because that's all you really need with rides. And these cinematic drums. I've been using the Cashmere cinematic drums quite a bit. I usually chop them up and mix them around, so they always kind of sound different. Sometimes I transpose them and tune them in different keys just to make them sound a bit different. In this case, I smashed out this bootleg quite quickly, so I more or less just threw things in, and if they sounded good, I kind of moved on, which is what I've done here. But they work. So I've done a little bit of chopping, but yeah, not much. And you can find them in the Cashmere sample packs, obviously. And then last thing I'm pretty sure is the effects. These are my go-to effects. You'll probably hear these in most of my tracks. It's just an up sweep, then the down sweep, then the up sweep, and then down sweep, and so on, wherever I want to put them. These ones sound pretty good. yeah, so that's pretty much what was involved in this breakdown. This wasn't really a tutorial, it was more or less just showing you how I did some things in the breakdown, what was involved, some of the processing and things like that. So I hope it helped you. I hope there's some things in there you can take from it and put into your own music. And yeah, I'll see you next time with something else, I guess. Catch you later.